5-year contract. It's just, I bring it up only because who cares, Scott? It's just mine. Jaren Jackson Jr., good player. Don't get me wrong. $50 million a year. You know, we all bitch and complain about the Juan Soto deals and the Ohtani deals, and you get guys like Jaren Jackson making $50 million a year.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
There's now 7 different directors of analytics for like the Raptors, the Chiefs, where you can see us all like workshopping these ideas in these threads because golf is so ubiquitous amongst gamblers. And so that was like the most popular non-poker forum was the golf sub-forum. And then once we started thinking about once I realized in 2013 that Brody's book was coming out, I just thought stroke chain putting was it.
The Smylie Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm saying I like their odds because I think they're insane at this point, but I do think they are a very viable option.
I don't even think their odds are that insane. Honestly, they won 64 games.
So you like this move for them?
Well, so the odds...
Regardless of the odds, just from a basketball.
Yeah, the odds have nothing to do with it. They won 64 games. They were eliminated by the Pacers, who lost Halliburton. The other 60-win team was the Celtics, and they lost Tatum. Like I think,
and the Knicks don't have a coach.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You want to take that gap year and trade LeBron James somewhere and get value, legitimate value for a 41-year-old player, LeBron James, I still think, in return. I think you have to explore that because if LeBron wants to win a title, we've heard so much buzz for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, Kevin, about Stephen Curry and LeBron James wanting to eventually play together. This might be that moment here. If you're the Golden State Warriors, why not make that call? I think that's something to watch out for.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Dude, that's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show, and a happy 4th of July week to all of our American listeners and viewers. Hope, like Smylie Kaufman, who's currently at the beach, you are also enjoying some sort of a getaway wherever you are. I'm Charlie Hume, and we have something a little bit...
You hear that?
I did not hear... What
That's
did I
fireworks.
miss?
What are the odds of that?
Fireworks right now? That's amazing.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
It's almost like we just, it was a theatrical, it was like our production crew out there just bringing it all together. Wow.
Uncle Sam doesn't do podcast buys, but here we are. I mean, come on.
That firework blast courtesy to you, coming to you from the United States of America. And all there is to celebrate patriotism, bald eagles, apple pie, things of that nature. Yeah. How about that? Wow. And full disclosure, we're recording this in the month of June. So the fact they got a full week jump just for us.
I'm wearing a dress shirt here tonight. We had a nice little dinner, but as you can see, it almost worked out. There's like perfect pink stripe, but then there's a pink strawberry ice cream from my daughter who was just ripping it. I mean, absolutely having just the time of her life, crushing some ice cream. She went vanilla strawberry with some sprinkles. Oh. And unfortunately for her, this thing just ends up like hot soup, like pretty quickly. And so if you're the one, cradling her here, next thing you know, it's gonna be all over you. So
I don't think there's anything that screams Americana more than a stain on your dress shirt from your toddler daughter who is eating ice cream with sprinkles at the beach.
It's
during
hard to
4th of
see,
July
though.
week.
It really is.
It is. Well, now that you called attention to it, it's the only thing I can see now. but I'll say that's par for the course at the beach this time of year. So well done to you.
Good.
Well done to you. We have something a little bit different today that I'm really excited about because we are going to represent to you, for those of you that have been listening or watching since the very beginning, a Stephen Curry conversation that you had almost exactly 2 years ago in 2023, before he was about to play the match alongside his then teammate Klay Thompson against Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes. And I say watching, but we never released this on YouTube, we realized at a certain point. This was prior to us launching the YouTube version of the show. So we had this cool conversation between the two of you and figured this is a great time, 2 years on, the 2-year anniversary of the conversation, put it right back out there.
Well, yeah, I for one feel like it was a good conversation that I feel like everybody missed. So, and we really weren't quite the operation that we were 2 years ago. We were just kind of skinning, by the grace of God from one day to the next, just trying to go, find guests, get stuff out. So
that was
2 years
year.
later, it's kind of fun to re-look at, like we're still using Zoom, not using Riverside like we use now. So we've come a long way, but I still feel like that conversation's great. Talking to Steph is awesome, and I'm going to run into him here pretty soon in Tahoe. He's going to be playing at
that's right.
that Celebrity Tahoe event out there. So excited to run into him again, and maybe I'll put a little bug in his ear and just say, hey, we need to do another one at some time.
I was reminded also this week. It was also the 2-year anniversary of CJ giving me his 4 Warriors championship rings to take home for Walker to hold that we subsequently showed to Steph Curry on the show, which he got a great kick out of. So
that's right.
All coming full circle. This conversation is presented by our friends at Ahead. It is a trust-based relationship. Ahead builds and manages digital platforms that power the most successful organizations in the world. Their consultative approach, unmatched engineering, and innovative solutions combine to accelerate the impact of technology and every client they serve. Ahead's longstanding relationships are built on outcomes and experience with both their clients and technology partners. You can learn more at ahead.com. Now, some of this conversation is obviously dated. Smylie and Steph are going to talk about the match itself. You can go back and look up how it went. But I think some of the stuff actually has not only applications at that time, but predictions in a way, because you talked to him a lot about the emerging state of NIL, and now we're past like a landmark ruling. So re-listening, rewatching, that's going to be kind of fun.
Definitely so. And you're right. The revenue sharing that's going to be happening across all of college sports, and how that's going to have an impact of whether it be, college golf, or whether it be football or basketball, whatever it is, baseball for those that really care about college baseball, which I happen to be one of those people. It's definitely going to be interesting. And it's always great to talk to, one of the greatest to ever play the game in a sport that I love. I grew up playing basketball. So, I can't wait to re-listen to this as well. So I'm sure there's gonna be some things that I'm gonna to remember, be like, yeah, I remember asking Steph that. That's pretty sweet. You're talking to Steph Curry. Come on.
So good. It's so good. And I'll say that nobody does a golf podcast with more airtime for LSU Tigers baseball or North Carolina Tar Heels football than this one you're listening to right here. So just don't even change the dial if that's what you're looking for. I'm not going to filibuster any longer. Let's get you to a June 2023 conversation between Smylie Kaufman and Steph Curry.
All right, Steph, you're a busy man. I appreciate you taking the time to join the Smylie Show. And you're in Las Vegas currently for the match. It's one I love to watch, and I'm looking forward to watching you guys. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. But last weekend, man, you were at Cypress Point. The internet's kind of picked up a little bit on you playing with Butch Harmon. And I'm curious, man, if you're working with Butch Harmon, is the celebrity golf circuit, do they need to be put on notice?
I would say yes for the prep that I'm doing, not just for the match, but also my favorite week of the year when we go up to the Lake Tahoe and play the Century. So I'm trying to win that one. I'm trying to win both of these, but I'm trying to win that one for sure. I finished tied for third a couple times. So I'm right there. So Butch gave me some tips, working with my guy, Alex Riggs, to give me some pointers, and we're working on our game. So the one thing that I'm figuring out is, one, this basketball just keeps getting in the way of me really hitting my stride. But I think it's interesting for the athletes that have, excelled in other sports to learn how to learn golf, if that makes sense. So in terms of putting swing thoughts together or whatever you're trying to work on, and actually see yourself improve, because it's not necessarily an easy thing to do, or just, duplicate. You can't just work harder and try harder and it click in golf. At least that's my experience. So to answer your question, yes, they should be on notice, because I'm feeling really good about my game right now.
Well, what did Butch tell you?
Butch, they say he's not a swing coach. He's a golf psychologist. So I feel like it was just more keeping things simple for me. It was, as a basketball player, I like to be on my toes a lot and real react.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're on your toes and you're kind of doing that, you don't really get to turn much, or you're limiting your turn.
Mm-hmm.
For me, That was a big trouble spot in my game, especially the long game and tee shots and stuff. He's like, just turn. Like, you can't turn too little, or too much, I should say. He said you can't turn too much, like exaggerate it in your practice swings, and then you'll do 80-90% of that in your regular swing, and that should be good enough. So
let's go, man.
Trying to dial that in.
Man, that hip turn, we're going to see that live on TV with the match. I can't wait to watch you sending bombs out there.
A real obnoxious pre-swing routine, like just sitting that way.
Oh, man. Well, I want to hear more about this weekend at Cypress Point. It's like a place that if you've never played it, it's the place everybody always wants to go to. I imagine that event, it's incredible. It's called the Hook and Eye. It's only 40 members and 40 guests. It's a very exclusive event. And typically in the Friday practice round, you play with Tom Brady, play against Charlie Hugh, my producer and co-host, his granddad, Sam Reeves, and Ed Hurley. And so this year you play with Butch. What was the result of that match against those two guys on Friday?
I feel like you already know the answer to this question. It's a true setup to how bad me and Butch got beat by Ed and Sam. So I want to say it's home course cooking, home course advantage. And Sam gave an amazing speech at one of the dinners. And I think he embellished the final result just a little bit. He said that they beat us 6-5. I'm gonna go with 4 and 3, respectively.
Well, my notes say 5 and 4, so so we might have to meet in the middle and go with 5 and 4. Anyways, that was a beatdown.
Let's get down to business with the particulars. The Pittsburgh Steelers will get Jalen Ramsey into their defensive backfield. They'll get Jonnu Smith.
All this talk I'm hearing about they're going to trade TJ Watt, that's not happening either. Okay, so I don't think that's even remotely in the cards. All this talk today, he's next. I don't believe that. I think they're going to give him a new deal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
9 times out of 100, when you get a gift for the boys in Vegas, what happens? The dude doesn't even get out of the first inning. I feel bad for him. He gave up 7 runs, 5 earned, but 7 runs in total, 5 hits, walked 2, didn't strike out a batter, and like I said, didn't get out of the first inning, got 1 out. I don't know how they do, Joe, but I'm telling you, those lines didn't make any sense.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Devin Booker had to run the point when Chris Paul was hurt. And we're like, Devin Booker's a point guard. Devin Booker's not a point guard. Neither is Jalen Green. So I need to know, once you get rid of Bradley Beal, who cannot be on that team, who is the point guard? And then I think as a 6th man, I actually don't mind it with Jalen Green.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
What is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
How about I answer your question with a question, Kev?
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
I would say it's possible that you somehow, in bringing in Aaron Rodgers, which is supposed to be a win-now move, look around at your team and go, wait, Pickens, Minka Fitzpatrick, and TJ Watt aren't on it anymore?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I actually have a quote from Sam Reeves, and he's a legend. The thing that is so endearing about Steph and Tom is when they tee off, they really think they actually stand a chance.
And I love that line because I'm definitely going to use that in the match too. So it's going to be beautiful for Travis.
Oh, there you go, man. You got to learn how to talk.
That wisdom's being handed down. So definitely.
You got to learn how to talk in those things. And so you play with Doug McKenzie in the actual event. It says you hit her. This is just from sources that I had. It says you hit 16 of 18 greens, couldn't make anything, shot 72, 74. How'd you think you played?
I was turning, as Butch would say, I was turning.
Okay.
I was hitting that ball. So it's one of those, like, everybody's asking, how'd you play and this and that? I don't know. As a professional golfer, like you've played countless rounds, how you feel when you hit the ball so good and like whatever you're working on is working, but you just don't have anything to show for it at the end because you couldn't make putts. I was like smiling ear to ear because of how good I hit it and made one birdie the entire day.
That's how golf goes, right?
I loved it because I hadn't had that experience before where like I know where the ball is going. I'm hitting every green, giving yourself a chance. And then I guess I was just being an optimist. Like if I could just keep doing this, just keep doing that, and then I'll make some putts eventually. So we'll see in the match, see if I can put it all together.
What's the old saying? Is it good shooters keep shooting? Is that the old adage? I think
it's something to that effect. And we whether it's a good shot or bad shot, we got amnesia as a good shooter. You got to just move on to the next. So.
I love it. Keep hitting those greens. Definitely that putter will get hot. Hopefully tomorrow for you in Las Vegas. But one of the cool events that Sam Reeves, Charlie's granddad, started at Cypress is one club challenge. So it's the 7th hole. It's a par 3. 8th hole is like this little short dogleg right par 4. That's a really kind of risk reward type hole for me. I'm being a long guy. And then the 8th hole is kind of a drivable par 4. What club did you pick? And I see you played with Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley and lost by a couple of shots, but I'm curious what club you picked considering it's par 3, short par 4, drivable par 4.
Yeah, so I think I picked a 7-iron. Chairman Ridley picked a 6-iron. I went with 7 because I can hit it. I can hit it far enough where. Well, this is the other part. It's a one club challenge, and your whole goal is to just don't lose the ball. Like you just find a way to get through those 3 holes without losing.
Wait, are you out if you lose the ball?
Yeah, you're out. You might as well just hopefully you bring some beers and some drinks because you got a long walk back to Mr. Reeves' house. But so the pressure of playing with Chairman Ridley, the 9th tee box is the first shot. So it's kind of a little downhill. And the landing area is not that big, considering it's a fairway.
It was with a 7-iron.
7-iron. kind of blocked it right. And I was mad. And I told Chairman Ridley, like, I had one job, and that was, not to get your shoes dirty while we were out here. And I had him sitting ankle high in the dunes, looking for, a smooth Callaway Chrome Soft X. So he found it though. We got through the three holes, but 7-iron for me was the kind of pick to hit some long shots. I could open it up if I wanted to chip around the green and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, that sounds like an incredible event, and you actually did win something. You won the long drive, so you at least took home some hardware.
They might as well just rename that after me. As many times.
Yeah, who's your competition in that?
This year it was usually Tom when he's coming down for the tournament, he can hit the long ball, and then Larry Fitzgerald's the other guy. So I think I got Larry by 3 yards on my last attempt. And they said that I was dealing with 20-mile-an-hour winds, headwinds. He had a pretty benign playing conditions for his part of the long drive festivities. So that 3 yards was a little deflated, if you ask me.
Well, man, that's it sounds like an incredible weekend. Anytime you go to Cyprus, it's a fun week. But so you grew up. I want to know, when did you start playing golf, and was it a family activity growing up for you?
Yeah, I started young. I'm like probably around 10 years old. My dad, he grew up in near Harrisonburg, Virginia. He was kind of, hunter, fisherman, didn't really know about golf growing up. And when he got into the NBA, he needed a summer hobby and kind of started to pick it up in his off seasons. And so me and my brother and even my sister, we just watch him, tinkering with stuff in the garage. He'd have a new set like every other week. It was kind of like, what is this golf thing? And then we used to drive the golf cart and run around with like a little, cut down putter and mess around the greens. And then I fell in love with it from there and took lessons for 2 weeks to kind of understand the fundamentals and get a good foundation, and just kept playing. So, high school or middle school and high school, I was a kid that obviously loved basketball. When I started high school, basketball was the only sport I played. But once the off season, like you play high school basketball and it ends in March, in between, I was trying to go out for the golf team, and I was a kid that my parents would drop me off at Charlotte Golf Links, couple minutes down the street from my house, 8 a.m., come pick me up 6 p.m. I'm gonna be out there all day type vibe. So I was obsessed from the jump for sure.
I love it, man. You're a grinder. And you talked about you put so much time into basketball, but so when you got to college and kind of the early part of the NBA, did you kind of have to put the clubs away, or were you always still, bringing the clubs out when you could?
Well, first, when I got to college, so I said I played 3 years on my high school golf team, and I wasn't great, but like I could compete. And I also, in the back of my head, was like, well, I don't really practice either, so maybe if I could spend a little bit more time. And the NBA was always on my radar in terms of that was a goal, and I was working tirelessly to make that happen. But you needed a little break, so I thought. I was so naive. I thought I signed up to go to Davidson College, and it was a small Division I school. I was like, maybe I can walk on their golf team, in our basketball off season and try to hang with those guys. Little did I know that about a week after right after our NCAA tournament game, my freshman year, and we lost to Maryland, and everybody's upset and down that the season's over with. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, maybe I got to go to the golf coach's, office and, see if there's any walk-on spots. And Coach McKillop, who's our head coach in the basketball team, he looks at our whole team and is like, all right, guys, tough loss, but, take 10 days off and we're back in the gym getting ready for next year. I was like, oh.
Right back, man.
So,
never sleeps.
I was away in college for sure. But now in the NBA, I get probably hopefully 2-3 rounds a month in. Coach Kerr, he kind of encourages if we do have a break in the schedule to go play. He knows how good it is for the mind, body, and the soul.
Lonzo Ball, I guess, Chicago, they've just, kind of had enough here. Traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. What do you make of him being healthy? You think there's a chance? I mean, that's kind of the key.
What you said with all these guys re-signing kind of speaks to the landscape of free agents this year. Most of the guys, there isn't that much money out there to be had. I think the Nets are the only team that actually have cap space and can sign anybody outright.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Incredible run here for Suarez, but realistically speaking, Corbin Burns out. Corbin Carroll is out right now. This is not a contending team, especially in that division where you've got the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants. It's just too much to bear. The Diamondbacks would be smart to let Jordan Lawler play every day, see what he is, and then probably move on from Suarez.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Will you ever play on the day of a game, or is it always like an off day?
I've only done it once in my career.
I feel like my legs would just be gone.
Yeah, that's always the fear, and obviously I'm not messing around with. I've heard stories about Michael and
I know that's what I'm thinking. Is MJ in my head? He played 36 holes. I'm like, there's no he's just obviously he's superhuman in that respect, and he could just had his routine that worked for him. But I've tried it once. It was like a game in Phoenix. The break started, so I felt like I could experiment a little bit. The sad part is my legs were tired. They were heavy. I could feel it. But I also had one of the better shooting games of the season that night.
So it was like the mixture of I had filled my cup up and had so much fun out there on the course, but I knew if I tried to do that, once a week or every game, there's no chance. So
it's just not possible.
It's a one and done.
Okay, there it is. You kind of mentioned Davidson and one and done. So you went to Davidson, and I think part of your charm is the Cinderella story that you kind of came from a small school and eventually became one of the biggest superstars that basketball has seen in this generation. I'm curious, what do you think your college career would have been like now in this era of NIL?
It's a great question. I think, honestly, it would have been very similar because I was a late bloomer. So it wasn't like I would have been in a situation coming out of high school. I was a 3-star recruit, wasn't really heavily recruited. And so I feel like my journey would have been similar until my sophomore year. And that's when I probably, my head would have been spinning in terms of what the new reality was. Because even back then in 2008, like social media was kind of, starting to take off, which is obviously, it's 15 years ago now.
Doesn't seem like that long ago.
And so like there was a big reaction to our story. Like my platform in the microscope around me, it was growing like crazy, and I could feel it, but I still had like a humble beginning of, having a normal, college experience. It was being just one of the student athletes that was on campus and us trying to figure it out. So the NIL money would not have been flowing through the Davidson basketball locker room. Like there would have been, hey coach, I'm gonna be a little late for practice. I gotta go do my, used car salesman commercial.
Yeah.
It would have been none of that. But after our tournament run, it would have been probably really tempting to, go into the transfer portal, maybe.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm curious about is like, would the transfer portal, would that have been an option for you? Like, would we have seen you that third year go somewhere else and play? Like, cause you, at that time you would have to transfer, you have to go sit out and wait a year. And that's not an option for a guy who's right on the doorstep of the NBA.
Yeah, it would have been a conversation for sure, just to kind of take, your draft stock and think about, all the things that these kids today have to kind of, navigate. The one thing that, I do know is that Davidson was just such a perfect fit for me and who I was and how I played. And, a coach that kind of believed in me and I could grow with and I trust. And so, though that probably would have been a conversation just because, that was what the circumstances were, I highly doubt that, in an alternate universe, I would have ever left just because of how much I loved my experience there. How good the fit was, how much I trusted coach, and the fact that, we were playing against all those, big Division I power conference schools anyway. And so I probably would have stayed, but I probably would have had a busier, junior year with all the other opportunities that are now, rightfully so in front of these highly capable student athletes.
Yeah, and so when you get to the NBA and those early years with the Warriors, and you're losing a good amount of games, you have injuries yourself you're dealing with. I myself know what it's like to go through times of struggle with injuries and how that affects, for me, my golf game, and everything just seemed out of sync and confidence isn't quite there. I'm curious for you, how are you kind of able to keep the faith really in that time period and see really the light at the end of the tunnel?
It's hard, man. Like you said, if you go through it, those are some lonely days, some lonely times, because it's so outside of your control. Like you're so used to being in a situation where, the work that you put in, you get the result. Yeah, just the ability to be available in whatever your sport is, and just be able to be consumed by the process of getting better and enjoying the competition and all that. When you have injuries or down times in your career, like it's a lonely feeling because all you want to do is just be able to do the thing that you love and that you put so many hours in. One, you got to have a good circle around you. It's very important. You got to have, that support that's, you're able to lean on. And at the end of the day, I think it's obviously motivation to, be very disciplined and detailed about whatever the rehab process are, what the hard work that you have to put in to get back to the person and the athlete that you want to be. But there's a lot of faith in it too, because you don't know how long that process is going to take.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I'm looking forward to watching that doc. Is it a documentary on Apple TV? That looks like it's going to be kind of telling a little bit of that story that you just kind of talked about.
It's cool. It's July 21st coming out on Apple TV Plus. Gotta get the plug in there.
Hold on, no, I'm gonna update my notes just to make sure I got an alarm set. I'm gonna be watching that. I'm gonna be ready for that one.
Stephen Curry underrated. It's weird saying your name in the title of a documentary, but yeah, it's the origin story of that team and kind of my journey to get there, all the experiences and connections and people that were part of those magical 3 years, and then kind of where it's kind of taken me from there. But it's wild. There's a lot of footage of stuff that nobody's really seen before in terms of one, how I was a freshman. I looked like I was 12 years old. Hey
man, me and you, baby face.
That's why I can't let this go. It literally took me 30 years to grow this. I wanted it so bad, but it speaks to just perseverance and work ethic and having people believe in you and speak that vision into you, and just the patience to be able to go through those processes and trust yourself that you're going to get to the ultimate goal that you want to get to. So I'm excited about it. Should be good for everybody to see.
Now I'm looking forward to watching it, man. And we always think of the highs with athletes and we think they don't ever have struggles, and that's just not true for anybody. And so I think that'll be a really nice way to kind of see what you went through. And if I told you in 2012 that you'd go on to win 4 championships and 2 MVP awards, would you have believed me?
Probably not. It's crazy. No, just because like you said, I knew that I belonged in the NBA, but it was just one of those situations where all you wanted to do was be healthy and have an opportunity. And if I just got that, I would have been satisfied, because that's how dark those days were for a while. So definitely blessed. God's been good to me. The opportunity to get and do what I love and have it accomplished some amazing heights in this game. And the fact that I think the more thing is like that you're talking almost 11, 12 years later, and I still feel like I'm right, in my prime and trying to, sustain this level of play. That's one of the most things I'm proud of based on, how everything started in my career.
All right. So this is a question that we kind of always ask golfers when we're playing practice rounds. It's like, hey, who would be the starting five if we had a PGA Tour NBA team? Like who's filling that lineup out? So if you're picking 5 NBA players to be the starting 5 to play with you on the PGA Tour, who's your starting 5 picking?
Wait, I'm picking NBA guys?
Yeah, NBA guys.
Good question. So current NBA guys? I'm gonna have to narrow this down.
Yeah, I mean, current would be great, right? I think
I'm going Seth Curry.
So you're picking bro. Okay.
Yeah, I'm picking bro. I'm picking Pat Connaughton at the 2. I hear he's solid out there. I haven't actually talked to him, but when your reputation is kind of
I'm sure there's a lot of talk going around who the best players
that.
in the league are.
Yeah. We're going to have a really small team, by the way, because I don't know. You're taking Kyle Lowry. You're taking Klay Thompson, and you're taking Andre Iguodala.
Iggy. That's the heart and soul of that lineup right there.
Absolutely.
That guy loves playing him some golf. Oh man. All right. So this is kind of a question we ask for really anybody that's not a golfer. Well, you are a golfer, but not a professional golfer. It's what is the biggest shot you've made in an NBA game versus the best golf shot you've ever hit in a tournament setting, and which one felt better?
Okay, so
I'm gonna see how big of a golf nut you are right here.
I know. Biggest shot I've made. Nobody really is gonna probably think this is worthy of what I'm about to say, but it was from 2015, Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and it was one of the second 3 I hit across from Cleveland's bench. It was a little 3 crossover move, step back 3, like late in the fourth quarter. It's probably like, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 minutes left, somewhere in there, but it was like kind of a dagger that got us over the hump to win Game 5, and then we went on to win Game 6 of your first NBA championship. So that's just a moment of like, you don't know if you can get there. And for me, that was kind of a big dagger shot that, gave us some life. And I remember that just because it helped us, win our first championship. And then in golf,
tournament setting. So one that's like pressure's on.
I played in the was it 2017, I think. It was the Corn Ferry Tour at the time.
Yes.
It was Corn Ferry now. What am I talking about?
I don't know. I played on the web.com when it was going. So I always end up calling it the web.com. So
that's what it was. The
proceed.
web.com tour in Hayward, California at TPC Stonebrae.
Yep.
I got a sponsor's exemption at the Ellie Mae Classic, and I was playing with Steven Yeager and Sam Ryder in
2 guys still playing on tour.
On the tour. And it's the first round I ended up shooting 74, but it was the whole 17, which I've played that course plenty of times in the non-tournament setting. And it's my least favorite hole in the course because I just have never performed well on it. And I knew coming down the stretch, like if I just get through this hole, like I might shoot a number here.
Yeah.
So I drop kicked one in the fairway with a driver. I literally drop kicked it about 260 down the hill.
You're just trying to get it to the house.
And then my second shot, it was like a 9-iron, and it was dead eye on the stick, and it actually smacked the stick.
Oh,
way down like the base of the stick, but it had enough juice on it that it bounced and then kind of spun back towards the hole and stopped.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they got the video on the YouTube and all that. So it's like just that moment, because of all the circumstances, my first time playing in a tournament. And my caddy, Johnny West, who was on the bag with me at the time, he he's got the audio while the ball's in there. Oh, be as good as you look. That type of vibe, and smacks the flag stick. I ended up make birdie and shoot a really decent, respectable score out there, and with all the Corn Ferry guys. So
heck yeah, you did, man. That was incredible. I'm honestly, so you're talking about on 17, and you don't like that hole, and you end up hitting an unbelievable shot, and so the pressure was on. You're like, I got to get to the house. What for you the difference between pressure on a golf course where it's quiet, you're very much in your own thoughts and how you get to the finish line versus basketball? Yes, got to get to the finish line, but it's a very loud arena and it's very chaotic. And it's not just you have other teammates. So it's two different deals, but the pressure in how you perform is still the same.
Oh, 100%. I think the biggest similarity, those quiet times on the bench in between timeouts, or whether it's a dead ball, there's a lot of inner dialogue going on. And when I get nervous on the golf course, it's the same thing, whether it's in between shots or whether it's over the ball, when you're trying not to think of anything, but you feel the moment. It's just positive self-talk. Like, it sounds so simple, but it really is just reminding yourself, like, oh, why are you nervous? Or, oh, you've hit this shot plenty of times, or, kind of just embracing, the magnitude of the moment. And all that self-dialogue is so, it takes a while. You have to train yourself how to do it, because the mind can be very negative at times without kind of controlling it. So I do that in basketball a lot. Whether I remember in the finals last year, like, there's just a lot of, like, just be great conversation to yourself, and a lot of different ways that you talk about it and kind of get yourself going. So that's the biggest similarity for me, just to be able to kind of ground yourself no matter what the situation is. Because it doesn't necessarily come naturally. You have to kind of work on it.
I was betting on the games and stuff, and I didn't always take the Expos. And there was a game once the Expos came back from like a 9-2 deficit in like the 9th inning. And on the post-game show, I got like 3,000 calls. The phone was blowing up. Morency, that was the greatest game in the last 10 years of the Expos. Awesome stuff. Hey, what do you think? I'm like, what I think? The Cubs suck.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Just have them put on that hat so the moment can be immortalized. Not Will Riley wearing the hat of the Utah Jazz when he is going to play for the Washington Wizards. It is so dumb. Stop it. You want to do official in terms of your draft tracking status? Fantastic. Switch the hats. Let the moments live. Let them be significant and special. Rant up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he can be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Will Aaron Judge be at the top of the home run board in MLB? What say you?
Judge probably is going to hit 55, 58. Somewhere around there is be his number there. So I'll say I'm going to buy this. Aaron Judge will lead the major leagues in home runs this year. Listen, I'm not breaking news. I probably would take that every year. And when he plays, these next couple until he's getting up there in age, until his bat does start to slow down.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, positivity. And for me, when I was playing on tour, some of the best advice really I got was to, when things got tough, to run your routine, just focus on that, like run that routine. And that's something when I go practice and I would spend hours and hours and hours, I would focus on my routine. And then from there, I would work on being like creative and then build myself up with confidence. And when I watch like your pre-warm-up routine that they'll show on pregame on TNT, and I kind of see similarities where you kind of do your block practice, kind of do your random practice, and then you do all your creativity stuff where you always leave the course, or excuse me, the arena or the court on a make, just to give you that extra bit of, I can do this, I can make any shot.
It's a big part of it. You said it well. I can't really add anything to it. It is about, falling in love with the process of what you do, how you do it. There's always tinkering. There's always a little bit of adjusting based on what's going on, but that's something you rely on heavily, from year to year, from game to game. It kind of puts you in the right zone. It builds your confidence up to see what you're trying to do out there, on the court. It's something that will sometimes, kind of highlight any adjustments I might need to make mechanically, just because you have the volume that comes with it. But it's a non-negotiable. Like, I have to go through that process in order to get my mind and body ready for the game. And if I don't, then you always feel kind of a little out of whack. So that process has developed over years, and it's something where through all of that, I try to have as much fun as possible. Like, it can't be work. It'll feel like that at times. It'll feel like the grind. There's days that obviously it comes a little easier than others, but I try to bring joy to it because, you're in that space so many times, and you don't want to ever, lose, that love of, like you said, the creativity part. That's where that creativity comes from.
That's the fun part.
I'm actually so present in the moment that, I'm enjoying myself, that stuff kind of oozes out of you. So it's a big piece to what you need to do to be successful, for sure.
And so often people think, when they see guys win on really anywhere, but the PGA Tour specifically, when I won, I didn't have my A stuff, but the days I was off, I had these quick adjustments that I was able to make my stuff more like B stuff. And you kind of just talked about adjustments that you make on the floor. What are those quick fixes for you on nights that you just don't really have it?
It could be as simple as, let's run a different play call to get you in a better position on the floor. It could be something mechanically, like
mechanically, when you get a little off, where do you get?
Like feeling which fingers the ball is rolling off of.
Wow.
Sometimes that's
specific finger.
Yeah, sometimes it happens naturally with how much you groove your shot, but when it's off, you have to kind of remind yourself what's the factors that could get the ball moving left or right or short, long, and usually it's what fingers is the ball rolling off when you release. The biggest one for me and the most consistent one is I start shooting the ball flat, so the little knockdown punch 9-irons, little flutter ones into the wind. That's what my ball looks like, instead of the high Rory McIlroy, bombs to the sky, which obviously on the basketball court, that's what you need. So when I start getting flat, that's when my consistency goes, in the dumps, and you have to kind of get that arc going, get the ball spinning the right way. And so those are things you kind of think about. You don't want to consume yourself with that, though, because it should, be, when you're out there on the court, it should come naturally. It should be kind of, thoughtless when it comes to, in-game action, but there's always ways to kind of tinker a little bit.
Yes. C shot, hit shot. That's kind of the old adage there. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but your brother is my full-time shooting coach with the basketball. I actually played all the way through high school. We won a state championship my junior year.
Hey, you got something I don't have right there. You got something I don't have.
Hey, humble brag,
It is.
I was coming off the bench, just the guy that I was really good free throw shooter. I mean, it's whatever. I wish I could still play. I just can't afford getting hurt with these. I got some small ankles, man. Those things aren't built for longevity.
I got some broad ankle braces if you really want to scratch the edge.
Yeah. There you go. There's another plug. Well, I said your brother's my full-time shooting coach. I have been made aware that you are the full-time shooting coach for Justin Thomas. And I apologize because he's like a 12 handicap when it comes to shooting the basketball. He shoots knuckle pucks. I mean, it's never online, and I know you have your work cut out for you as a coach.
Oh, I do. Once I established that as my role, once he sent his first video of his shot, I'm gonna look at my phone and see how long the breakdown I sent back was. 'Cause we got a lot to work on. Like, we can bring that natural athlete out of him. It's just gonna take a while. So, kind of like Butch and Ricky Fowler this year, there's always a way to, to get him back to, a place where he can, go to any YMCA, any men's league when it's all said and done, and where I would say be at a spot where I would show up with him and be like, yeah, he's with me.
Yeah, yeah. You can't have that being a shooting coach and he's throwing it over the backboard. I give him credit. He's getting better, but it's definitely. He definitely was starting from not a great position before he sent you that video, I will say.
He's putting the time in, though. He's committed. That's what I thought.
I love it. And that's the way he is, man. He's wired. When he puts his mind at something, he doesn't stop till he figures it out. And I think that's how all of us athletes are when it comes to something competitive. And I also talked to one of my other buddies, Jordan Spieth, and he said that y'all had one amazing round of golf, played with you, your brother, Jordan, and Kevin Plank for Under Armour, and Barack Obama. Can you confirm this for me? Did Jordan really ask President Obama if aliens exist?
I can confirm. Yes, I can. That was an amazing. It's like when you get time with the 44th president of the United States. I would be ashamed if you didn't ask that question. That's like, I mean, you gotta shoot your shot, right? And that's what we were talking about. So, Jordan was an amazing host. Both him and Seth were our members of beautiful Dallas National.
Great spot.
Great track. And Kevin Plank, President Obama were in the group. And it was just amazing to be in that kind of company.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. What was the match? And I heard maybe Obama made the winning putt for whatever team he was on.
He did. He made the winning putt. It was me and President Obama, and then KP and Jordan. So I was his biggest fan that day. He's a nice smooth left. He's got a really good putting shot. The long game could use some work. He knows that, but hopefully he's in his free time that he's had these last 4 or 5 years that he's gotten a little bit better.
I'm sure he's dialed. I'd love to play with President Obama one day. I'm sure he is smooth. I've seen that action. I'm sure that was a fantastic day. But we kind of talked about it at the top that you were in Las Vegas for the match. You played in one before. You're 0-1. Played with Peyton Manning, and unfortunately, you went down to Philly Mickelson and Big Chuck Charles Barkley. So, why is it going to be different this time? Why do you think you can take down Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes playing with your teammate Klay Thompson?
Well, first off, you are correct in my record is 0-1. What a mate! Like I'm using basketball IQ and just being a point guard vision. That's my biggest strength. And for whatever reason, I just couldn't read the situation right with the last match. Like, of course I want to play in the match. Of course I'd love to team up with Peyton Manning. But I don't know why in the hell I went to Phil Mickelson's course in Tucson, Arizona, that he knows like the back of his hand. We agreed to alternate shot, which is the dumbest thing to do for two amateurs trying to actually compete. And then we just sat quietly and while they let Chuck tee off on the red tees every hole, and Phil's just yelling on a par 5 like, "Hey Chuck, hit the 7-iron in the middle of the fairway." So he has like a nice 5-iron, and a 5-iron to y'all is like a wedge to us in that kind of scenario. So we got hustled. That's what I'm trying to say. We got hustled to the fullest.
Well, you played against Chuck. I mean, talk about have you figured out how you're going to mute Chuck when you're playing golf tomorrow now?
I was doing a practice round and we had the earpieces in and all that. So I got really good with the pull out, put back in earpiece, pull the earpiece out, put it back in. And I hear that, "All right, y'all." When I hear that, that's
just chunk it. Man, that's incredible. I look forward to watching that. And kind of is just in the future in golf for you. You're an investor in the TGL, which is the new golf league started by Tiger and Rory. You've invested a ton in Howard's golf program, who I got to be the analyst for them winning at Shoal Creek in the PGA of America Works event, which they absolutely won. I think they won like 70 shots. It was insane. Why is the investment for you in this next generation, of golf so important to you?
I mean, it starts with just what we all know, the world of golf and the experience of golf, what it can do in terms of bringing people together, what it can do for, amazing experiences. It can take you to all different types of places around the world. Whether you're playing or whether you're in the business of golf, there are so many opportunities that, not a lot of kids that we're trying to serve know about. And so we're trying to give them the vision of what's possible. The North Star is what Howard University is, and the golf program there is about. We're creating scholarships for these student athletes to come be a part of an amazing program, get an education, but pursue golf at the highest level. We know the numbers. We know it's extremely hard to, make it to the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, and we want, some more representation on those tours. But throughout that process, we're giving these kids the skill sets to be successful in life, no matter what they decide to do, and instilling confidence for them on that front. So golf can be a conduit to, equity, access, and opportunity across the board. And for me, I have so much fun playing the game, but I also know how blessed I am that I had a dad that introduced it to me. I could get clubs, I could get coaching, I had access to, golf courses, and that's not a given for everybody. So if I can do my small part and through, the things that you mentioned to continue to make golf fun, cool, accessible, to, give kids opportunities to get out there and at earlier ages, get clubs in their hand, then that's what I want to, that's what I want to be a part of. And I wanted to start early because I know this is a lifelong journey of trying to grow the game. I know that's an overused saying, but it really is, a way that we can, leverage golf and what it brings to what it's brought to my life, to many, many other kids.
Well, I love that you're putting your words into action and in all those endeavors. It's really cool to see for the game of golf. And when you talk about growing the game, you're doing it, man. And it's really fun to see all the you know, a guy like you being in the golf space is so great for our game in a place where, you know, there is less access in other places. So this underrated golf tour is going to be something I'm going to be tuned into and hope to be involved with down the road.